Well, after like a 3 or 4 week break, I am finally back to making my content. Um, and what a way to come back. It is Cavs against the Celtics tomorrow at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse. Travis Kelce and Jason Kelsey bobblehead giveaway. It is a top 3 showdown in the Eastern Conference on TNT. I will be at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse for this game. And because it is the Boston Celtics in town, you know who I had to call on to talk about this game. My very good Bostonian friend. You see him all the time at TD Garden for Boston Bruins games and Boston Celtics games. Dude, it seems like you go to just about every Celtics game. Hell, you were just in New York City, what, 2 weeks ago for Celtics Knicks, something like that? Yeah, you'll have to excuse him. He's a bit laggy, but we'll make it work. But yeah, Jesse was just in New York recently to see the Celtics play the Knicks. And then he's back a couple days later at TD Garden and he's seen the Celtics host the Dallas Mavericks. Dude, you're at just about every Celtics home game. I swear to God.
Yeah, we were just in Madison Square Garden last weekend. No, was it last weekend? No, not this past weekend. The weekend prior to that last weekend. It's been a blur so far. It's been a blur for the Celtics for me this year. It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah, and I know you were at the game earlier this season when we played you in Boston. So it's kind of fitting that I'll be at the game tomorrow night. But of course, I bought a ticket to this game. I'll be there. And I was so hyped for this game. I'm like, this is going to be the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference going at it. It's going to be Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell going against Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Maybe a possible Eastern Conference Finals preview. And then, boo! Bombshell. Donovan Mitchell out the next 3 games against Boston, Atlanta, and Minnesota. And we lost to the New York Knicks last night with even though they lost Jalen Brunson in the first minute of the game. And I'm like, are they trying to zap my excitement level for the Celtics Cavs game? Like, is that what's happening to me right now? Because, dude, you have no idea. I was so hyped. I'm like, this is going to be a great game. It's on TNT. And then this happens. Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I know, and all that. I mean, it's part of the game. Right now, Celtics are at the top of the league at like, I think it's 48-12, if I'm not mistaken correctly. But it's a landslide right now between the East, between the first and the second seed. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm shocked that Cleveland's in second. I had them, I think, third at the beginning of the year, so I'm not that far off. But like for second, I was like, woo!
I
It's
mean,
good to see. It's good to see.
after last night, we're now in third in the East. But if Milwaukee loses, we jump back into second. But then we play you guys tomorrow. So, hooray, I guess. I don't freaking know. But, you know,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
the timing is just perfect. But in my opinion, I
right.
don't know many other NBA fans who recognize Cavaliers Celtics as a rivalry, but we've played each other 5 times in the playoffs since 2008. We're talking 2008, 2010, 2015, 2017, and 2018. And in 2008 and 2018, both of those series went to a game 7. Last year, we took 3 out of 4 against you, but 3 of those games went to overtime. I'm like, This is a great rivalry. But I don't know what many other NBA fans who would say Celtics Cavaliers is a rivalry. You got any thoughts on that?
Hold on a second. You're breaking up here. Hold on. Oh, he is. You guys can hear me fine though? Not really. What the heck is going on? Hold on a second.
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. We apologize.
Let me try doing it like this. Is it on his end or mine? You can hear me fine? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's StreamYard's right now doing it, but my chat's saying that they can't hear you, but they can hear me. It's odd.
Weird. Because I can hear you just fine.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm looking at your live stream right now, and yeah, for some reason my screen is frozen on your end.
It sounds better. It sounds a little bit better here right now. When I just unplugged my headphones here, but you can hear him now. Hey, type one in the chat if you can hear him.
Are we coming through now? Ben, the kid, says he can hear me. I think we're good now.
All right, they're all saying one. All right, yeah, they're all saying we're good. They're all saying we're good. Yeah, I have 12 people in my chat. They're all saying one, so we're good.
Got it. Hopefully, we got all of our technical difficulties out of the way. But we'll address them if they come up again. But yeah, you guys are going for the regular season sweep against us tomorrow because you took the first two games in Boston, and this is your only visit to Cleveland this season because that's just how the schedule worked out. But even without Donovan Mitchell, I don't think it's going to be easy for you because you still have to deal with Darius Garland. You still have to deal with Evan Mobley. We'll see if Isaac Okoro can score 10 points. If he does, we'll sound the Isaac Okoro alarm because that's not a common thing for Cleveland fans, but it's a thing for me and my friend group because it's an inside joke where we're like, Isaac Okoro, can you score 10 points, please? Don't ask me how it started. Actually, right? I know how it started. It was a thing with me and my friend C-Boss. We were at a game against, I believe it was Chicago, and he was stuck on 9 and waiting for him to go over that 10-point mark, and he never did it. And we're like, dude, you just needed to score one more point. How did you screw that one up?
Right?
It was quite funny. But of course, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have no problem scoring 10 points. Hell, they both can score 30 points, no problem. What were the Golden State Warriors doing defensively yesterday against Jaylen Brown? What was that?
That's a very good question. I asked my chat the exact same thing last night in my post-game live stream. I asked him, why were they backing off Jaylen Brown, pretty much daring him to shoot? And he said a quote. I think it was either on Twitter last night, or he said it in the post-game conference last night too, but he said the thing that he said that caught my eye was, I hope teams play like this on me throughout the entire season. Please dare me to shoot. I and then I saw Draymond's quote saying like, "Oh, that was our defensive strategy going in." If your defensive strategy going into the Celtics was forcing them to shoot threes, which is like the the best, almost the best thing that they can do in this team, then you deserve to lose by 50. If you had no plan defensively how to stop us, and that was your plan to try and stop us is letting us shoot, you deserve to lose by 50. I hate to say it, you deserve to lose by 50.
That had to feel good doing that against Golden State yesterday after
It
what
did.
happened in the
It did.
2022 NBA Finals. I hate to bring up those bad memories, but that had to feel pretty good.
It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm over it now. It seems like we have a good chance at it this year, and I hope I just pray to God that it is this year that it happens.
Yeah. And you did that yesterday without Kristaps Porzingis, and you played like
Which
that.
is even crazier, by the way. Because he was the biggest piece that we got from the past offseason, and it seems like the Golden State Warriors always find a way to beat our drop coverage on defense, whatever, and like they couldn't hit nothing yesterday. And it seemed like when we traded Marcus Smart and we traded Robert Williams, we got rid of all of our guys, and brought in Drew, we brought in Kristaps. It seemed like we were bringing in more sharpshooters because I miss Marcus Smart. Don't get me wrong, Marcus Smart is love and trust forever here over the Celtics side. We love him to death, so on and so forth. But like, let's be real. It's on top of that from them for Smart. I don't know either. But there's a slogan right now for the Celtics, and it's not a slogan. It's a hashtag. It's hashtag different here. I hated that slogan at first because I'm thinking, what is different about this team? Yeah, we have different players, yeah, whatever. But like, what is different with the concept of how we play versus last year? And it's much clearer now than it was before, where our third option last year was Smart. Not really known to be a scorer. He's known for his defense. So right now we have 3 guys who are averaging over 20 points a game. That's huge. We haven't had 3 guys average 20 or more points in a while. Probably since the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen era was the last time we had something similar to that. And they turn it up on offense. They can beat them any way possible, whether they're driving into the paint, kicking it out for a 3. They beat them on the defensive end, whatever. The way they beat teams this year is different versus last year because I don't want to say they were inconsistent last year, but they had problems beating teams that they shouldn't be able to beat last year, and they're doing that this year. And it is different here. It really is different here.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have won 11 straight. You're in this stretch, you're beating teams by an average of like 30. I mean, hell, you won. I think I saw a stat that the win against Golden State yesterday was the 3rd largest in franchise history for the Celtics, which you guys are one of the most historic teams in the NBA. So that really says something. Jason Tatum has got to be one of the front runners in the MVP discussion right now. Personally, I would put him second behind Shea, given I don't think anybody really expected this from the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's in no way disrespecting or discrediting what Jason Tatum has done, because I totally recognize what he's done and how much he has meant for the Celtics. But I just look at what OKC has done, and I'm a little more impressed by that because we didn't see this coming from the Thunder. That's all. I don't mean that as a slight towards Jason Tatum in any way. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So there's a controversy right now is should he be in the conversation for MVP? Should he not be in the conversation for MVP? And the reason
He
why that is a
absolutely
debate
should.
there is because and I agree with that. The debate there right now is because they look at the Celtics and they look at the roster. They look at their Celtics roster and they say there could be 5 All-Stars on that team. He's loaded, as opposed to Luka, where he really only has Kyrie, to OKC with Shea, where what they're doing this year and how they're all young and he's was like their main piece in putting it all together. They're looking at him. They're looking at obviously Jokic and what he's doing, and Jokic or Joker. You know what I'm saying. But they're looking at him. They know he's being him, and then there's Giannis being Giannis, which I don't know, man. It's really tough because they like to discredit Tatum because of how much help he has, but like it's not his fault that he was surrounded with all of his talent, all this type of talent. Isn't that what you want your team to do if you're competing for a championship?
Hell,
He's the best player on the best team.
Yeah.
He should be in the conversation.
Whatever controversy there is, no, there should not be any controversy. Hell, Donovan Mitchell should even, I know he's injured right now, but I would say, and I'm not saying this as a Cavs fan, I'm saying this as an NBA fan, Donovan Mitchell should be in the MVP conversation because of what the Cavs have done this season, you know, being the number 2 seed or being in the top 3 of the Eastern Conference, along with the likes of the Celtics and the Bucks. You know, we're in that mix. I don't think anybody views us as true title contenders since we're in the mix with the likes of the Bucks and the Celtics, but even still, I would put Donovan Mitchell in the mix for MVP. Do I think he should be the front runner? No, but I think he belongs in the conversation. You agree with that?
He's been balling out this year. He's been if it's me, I'll put Mitchell. Trying to not be biased here, obviously. I would put him. Let's see. I put him in like the top 5, top 6 in the MVP right now because it is impressive what his team is doing. I think that's another team you look at. It's like Oklahoma City where they're young. They had success last year, obviously, but like, did we all view Cleveland as the number 2 seed in the East? No. I viewed them as a number 3 seed at the beginning of the year. And I remember doing a podcast with one of my friends, and even she was like, "Really? Cleveland at 3rd?" I was like, "Yeah. I don't have any faith in Philly. I don't think Miami's that great. New York can be a threat, but again, New York is New York." So I mean, I don't want to say like I didn't see it coming, but to be over Milwaukee, I didn't see that one coming.
I gotta give credit to Doc Rivers partially for that, because when he came in, the Bucks kind of struggled right out the bat, and we were able to take advantage of that. So thank you, Milwaukee and Doc Rivers. But also got to thank Phoenix and Utah and a couple other teams who beat the Bucks, and we were able to take advantage of that. But yeah, this is still going to be a really good game tomorrow because it's top 3 seeds in the Eastern Conference going at it. But I'm expecting, when I look at the odds tomorrow, Boston's probably going to be favored by 7 or 8 now after this Donovan Mitchell news.
Let's see. I'm on ESPN.
If Donovan Mitchell was healthy, I think Boston would be favored by like 2 or 3. but I would say now it's probably going to be Boston -7 or 8.
Right now, I'm on ESPN right now. The open spread for the Celtics is -5.5, and the spread is 6.5.
Okay.
And the money line is -280 for the Celtics, and the matchup predictor is 71.8% in favor of Boston and 28.2 in favor of Cleveland at the moment. So
And it
I
makes sense.
think that's including Donovan Mitchell out.
Huh?
Yep, it's including Donovan Mitchell out. Max is including Donovan Mitchell out. Max Strus out, and right now it says Karis LeVert and Okoro is game time decision. So
Max
the only thing
Strus
that the
is
Celtics are
out?
missing right now at this moment, yep. And the only thing I'm seeing right now is that Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis are game time decisions also. So they could be playing. If it was me, I'd rest Porzingis because I do not want him hurt for the playoffs. And right now the Celtics have a decent lead on the first seed. So if worse comes to worse for the Celtics, if they lose this game because they have to sit Brown and Porzingis, it doesn't really bother me that much because we don't really need this game. Cleveland needs the game more than we do. So
Oh, yeah.
if we lose this game, it's not going to sound any alarms in my head whatsoever.
No, Max Strus is out due to a right knee strain. So I have no idea what the heck our starting lineup is going to be tomorrow, other than Darius Garland, not Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I have no idea because Okoro usually moves into our starting lineup when Donovan Mitchell is out, or if when Darius Garland was injured. But if Okoro's out, I have no idea what our starting lineup's going to look like. I genuinely don't know. So it could be like a mix and mash type lineup tomorrow, which going against the likes of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, no thanks. I don't like that. I also don't like that this is the first night of a back-to-back for us, because on Wednesday we have to play at Atlanta. Are you kidding me? Like I'm like,
Gotcha.
we have to play the top team in the league at home on Tuesday, and then we have to fly down to Atlanta to play Trae Young the next night. Thanks,
Gotcha.
NBA
Okay.
schedule makers. Love you too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We had a back-to-back this year where we had Minnesota here in Boston the first game, and then we had to fly to Milwaukee the next day, that night to play the Bucks the next day. I was like, well, this is a trap game and a half. Well, we're gonna lose against Milwaukee because we just went to overtime against Minnesota and we beat them.
Yeah, I think you were at that game because I remember watching your vlog. I try to watch almost
Minnesota.
every
Nope. I was at
Oh yeah, you were
I
at
was
the
at
Utah
the
game.
Utah Jazz one. No.
I try to watch almost every one of your vlogs. By the way, I appreciate the shout out when you went to the Celtics Cavs game in Boston. I did catch that.
Oh yeah. I had to. It was only right.
Yeah. By the way, how was it meeting Kristaps Porzingis?
Oh my god, he's such a humble dude, man. He's so cool. Dude, he just fits Boston so well, and like he loves the city, he loves the people here. I mean, he's made for Boston.
Yeah, it would be interesting if he goes against Jared Allen tomorrow. That would be because Porzingis doesn't really play much in the post. He's more of a mid-range to three-point shooter, I would say. Whereas Jared Allen, he can make the mid-range shot, but from what I've seen, he's more of a low post kind of guy, so that would be an interesting stylistic matchup.
You
If
saying Porzingis doesn't play in the post?
I don't see a lot of Porzingis in the post. I feel like I see him more.
He is elite in the post. Yeah, I mean, I have to pull up the numbers, but that's one of his elite things on the court is in the post. That's a lot of reason why the Celtics got him, because we couldn't break down the
I feel like
2-3 zone against Miami, and we needed a big with a post game to be able to break it down.
I feel like I see Porzingis more out on the perimeter when I watch the Celtics play. I'm not saying he can't post up. I understand that he's great at it, but I feel like when I've seen you guys play on TV, Porzingis is mostly out on the perimeter.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he works the pick and roll. If he gets a matchup where it's like a mismatch, he's in the post. But yeah, I mean that was one of the main reasons why the Celtics went out to get KP, was because we could not break down Miami's 3-2, 2-3 zone or whatever defense, whatever. So when we have a 7'3" guy in the post, that means everybody has to collapse on him. And when that happens, it creates 3-point shots in the corner, at the wing, or whatever. It creates more shots for the Celtics. That's how they've been able to have a lot of success this year. And oh, by the way, Kristaps Porzingis with the post up fadeaway. Well, I shouldn't say he has a fadeaway, but like he has like a post up game where like he can up fake and then go under and into the basket or whatever. I mean, his post game is elite. It's top notch in the league.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say he doesn't have a post game. I've seen him play down low, but I was just trying to say, like, from what I've seen, he mostly plays out on the perimeter with you guys. But Derek White I would say he was an underrated pickup for you guys. You got him not last year. I think it was the year before, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But since you slotted him into the starting lineup, him and Jaylen Brown have like played off of each other beautifully. It is crazy how well Derek White and Jaylen Brown play off of each other, from what I've seen anyway. Then again, the Celtics' entire starting lineup is just a well-oiled machine, because you got Drew Holiday at point guard, Derek White shooting guard, Jaylen Brown at small forward. I think it's crazy that Tatum plays power forward, but he's been able to do it. And then you have Porzingis at center. But my one question is, do you have enough depth coming off your bench to sustain this?
Okay, that's been the biggest concern to me at the beginning of the year. That was like my biggest concern. You let go of Malcolm Brogdon, who won Sixth Man of the Year. You traded Robert Williams, along with that deal for Drew Holiday. You got rid of Grant.
You traded Grant Williams. Yep.
He's Grant Williams. He pokes the bear in Jimmy Butler. He says, I'm going to make both. You were at that game. He misses the two free throws. You got rid of Smart. That was like the biggest question heading into years. Like, what was their depth off the bench going to look like? And in the playoffs, it comes down to this. It comes down to your best 8 or 9 versus their best 8 or 9. And if you look at the Celtics roster right now, their best 8 is, and this is like starting 5 through, this is like starting 5, and then you got your 6th man, 7th man, 8th man, so on and so forth. It goes Drew at the point guard. You have Derek White at the shooting guard. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. Your sixth man right now is Al Horford, even though he's not known as like a scorer, but like he does come off the bench, and right now he's averaging about 8 points a game. Your seventh guy would, and you could even argue that he is like your main player off the bench because of how good of a sharpshooter he has been this year. That is Sam Hauser, who's right now averaging about 8 points per game also. Would I like to see him average around 10? Yes, because I just like to see somebody off the bench average around double digits because then I know like we have somebody who's consistent off the bench. But when you're shooting 42% from three in Sam Hauser, I'm not really going to complain that much because that means you're knocking down you're knocking down 4 out of 10 threes every 10 shots you take, which is pretty good. And then your eighth best player is Peyton Pritchard, who, if you don't remember from last year, he took a back seat as the bench because they brought in Malcolm Brogdon to give themselves some firepower off the bench. Actually requested a trade last year at one point because he wanted some playing time or whatever, and he felt like he wasn't getting it on the Celtics. He's averaging 8.2 points per game right now. The shooting at the beginning of the year wasn't that great. There was like a stretch of games where he went like 1 for 6 from 3, 0 for 4, so on and so forth, and he wasn't really scoring the ball that much. But towards the second half of the season, played very well. 8.2 points per game, half a steal a game, not even averaging a turnover a game, which is nice. 3 assists a game, 3.2 rebounds a game. So right now, I feel like the bench is okay. I think if the Celtics so bad to get Lonnie Walker the fourth from Brooklyn because he was making only $2 million with the Brooklyn Nets. Didn't really have to give up much to get him because Brooklyn's rebuilding right now. Maybe you had to give like a couple picks. You could have given somebody off the back of the bench like Svi Mihailuk, who's not getting any playing time to match the salary. I wish they got one more scorer off the bench, but
what happened to Xavier Tillman? Didn't you trade for him from Memphis?
I was just about to get to him. He's not known as a scorer. He's more known for defense. And that was another issue from the Celtics this season was the defense off the bench. You had Horford, who's a good defender inside the paint. Sam Hauser's a good 3-and-D player, but I'll rephrase that. Okay, he's an okay 3-and-D player. He can play. He has times where he shows on defense, but they didn't really have that like dog mentality defensive guy off the bench, and that's why they went out and got Xavier Tillman. Which, if they did Tillman and Lonnie Walker the fourth, what a good trade deadline for the Celtics. If they would have nailed 2 birds with 2 different trades, that offense off the bench would be set. The defense off the bench would be set. But they didn't do that. And they went with defense at the trade deadline, which I'm okay with that too. If it means your top 3 guys in Porzingis, Tatum, and Brown getting the ball more to be able to score more, then I'm all for it. It's worked for them so far, so I have to roll with it at this point.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the Cavs at the trade deadline because we are a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I'm like, that's great, but I feel like we don't have a solid 3-and-D guy like you were just talking about. Like, Max Strus has been solid for us as a starting small forward, but he can't match up with the likes of, Giannis, a Jason Tatum, or a Jaylen Brown, Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, Giannis when he plays the 3. I was hoping the Cavs would trade for some type of wing guy, like maybe a Tim Hardaway Jr. from Dallas or a Dorian Finney-Smith. So, maybe a Kyle Kuzma from Washington. Yeah. somebody like that, you
I
know,
cannot believe Cleveland didn't do anything at the trade deadline.
I would, dude, I was disappointed. I wanted something. I'm like, Cavs,
I thought they were going to be a team that was. I thought they were going to do what the Knicks did. To be completely honest with you,
yeah.
I thought they were going to be like, all right, we're playing good right now. Our time is now. Do they even have any like picks they could have dealt off to get pieces or no?
I don't really know because of the whole Donovan Mitchell trade, which I, if we don't sign Donovan Mitchell to a contract extension, all hell is going to break loose. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. And we have contracts coming up with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen that we have to figure out. And I'm hearing a
Mm-hmm.
lot of chit chat about can Jared Allen and Evan Mobley play well together, and I've heard mixed results about that.
Mm.
So, like, and we saw what happened in the playoffs last year. The Knicks just said, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, you're not beating us. And we didn't have any shooters to spread the floor. So I'm like, can we go out and get some type of shooters, like what you guys have to help spread the floor? That's why I think you guys have been so effective this season, is because you went out, you surrounded Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with shooters. You mentioned Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Kristaps Porzingis, as we were talking about earlier. He can step out and shoot the mid-range shot, three-point shot. That opens the floor for Jason
Mm.
Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I was asking for that same thing as a Cavs fan. I'm like, I see what we have with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, but if they can't get to the lane, they can't be effective. I've seen Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, make the mid-range shot. I've seen both of them make the three-point shot, but still, their strong suits is driving to the lane. You need shooters to open it up. I
Right.
like that we went out and got
Right.
Max Strus and George Niang. They've been good
Yeah.
pickups. And if Ty Jerome could stay healthy, maybe he could be an effective shooter. But I'm like, I want Kyle Kuzma. I want,
Right. Yep.
a Tim Hardaway Jr., a Dorian Finney-Smith. Maybe we could have got. Maybe I would have loved to have gotten Royce O'Neal. Like, Phoenix didn't have to give up
Mm.
that much to get him. I'm like, why did we try to
No.
get him? You know,
Right. So I'm looking at the I'm looking at Fanspo right now, which is a trade machine for like NBA teams and all that. So the Cleveland
yeah,
Cavaliers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They had 8 second round picks they could have drafted off. And the first and any picks in the first round, they only have 2 picks in the first round right now. It's in 2024 and in 2030. So I think with one of the rules, they couldn't trade off back-to-back first-round picks. So they probably wouldn't have been able to trade off any of the first-round picks. But all those second-round picks, those 8 or 9 second-round picks, should have been in play in the deadline.
yeah. Like I said, I wanted okay, maybe not. Maybe Kyle Kuzma wouldn't have been in the cards, but I I would have loved to have gotten Josh Hart last year. Um, I would have loved to have gotten, like I said,
Right.
I was pushing for Kyle Kuzma last year. I would have loved Tim Hardaway Jr., Royce O'Neal, somebody. Because when Isaac Okoro was the starting small forward last year, he
Yeah.
doesn't consistently provide that 15 to 20 points a game that you need. That's why you guys are so effective. I get that Jaylen Brown is more of an all-star caliber player, but at least he's able, as your starting
Right.
small forward, you can count on him to give you at least 20 points a game. When Chris Middleton is
Right.
when Chris Middleton is healthy, Milwaukee knows they can get at least 10 points a game from him.
Right.
Jim,
Yeah.
Jim, I could
Right.
go on and on and on. You get my point. That's one of my biggest issues with the Cavs. And even though I'm a Cavs fan and I would love to say, yeah, we're true title contenders, I know we're not. I know that we're not. Like right now, if the playoffs
you
start
guys need I feel like yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
right now, if the playoffs started today, we'd be playing the Orlando Magic in the first round. I think we could win that series, but then let's see.
Right.
The 3 seed, I think we'd be playing either the 2 seed or the 7 seed. So that would be probably Milwaukee.
You'd be playing the
I,
2. Yep.
I don't think we would win the series against
Yep.
Milwaukee. Even though they're coached by Doc Rivers, I don't think we would
Right.
win that series. I have to be honest. So right now, I would say, whereas your ceiling is the NBA Finals. Personally, I would love to see a Celtics Nuggets NBA Finals. Oh yes, please sign me up for that. That series would be
absolutely,
fantastic. To see Jokic and
and
Jamal Murray go.
we got Denver on Thursday. Yep.
Yes, you do. So let me ask you this, actually, speaking of that. This is the first game of a 5-game road trip for you that takes you to Cleveland, Denver, Phoenix, Utah, and Portland. Are you worried that maybe like the Celtics are going to be looking ahead to that Denver matchup a little bit?
That could be why KP and JB right now are listed as questionable for tomorrow's game against Cleveland, because maybe they're resting him up for that game on Thursday. Again, honestly, I am okay with that, because right now I think your that is your biggest test right now is Denver, because the way the East is looking this year, how Milwaukee's been struggling this year, Cleveland's good, but like they're still somewhat young. You got the Knicks, who are injury prone right now. You got Philadelphia, who I never believe in Philadelphia. And Joel Embiid says it best. It's not a rivalry because they always kick our ass. So I'm not afraid of Philadelphia. Magic, we have trouble with them, but I think we finally figured them out in December this year. They should get through the Eastern Conference. They should make it to the finals. I don't know if I said that last year too or not, but this year especially, I don't think they really have an excuse. And I need to see like who's a threat in the Western Conference right now. I think for me, my 2 teams that I look at in the Western Conference and I say, okay, they have a chance to beat us and I would say I'd even go the Clippers, to be completely honest with you. I think OKC is too young and inexperienced. I think Minnesota is inexperienced too. I'm not saying they're young, but I'm just saying they're inexperienced. They don't have much playoff success. I think with the Celtics going to the NBA Finals 2 years ago, that's going to help them this time around in the NBA Finals, as opposed to 2 years ago when they faced Golden State, who's already been there numerous amount of times. So I think
Trust
right
me,
now
I know they have.
Yeah. So right now, I think their biggest test is Denver and the Clippers. Give me a 7-game series with either one of those 2 teams all day long.
I would say Denver's the bigger threat right now because the Clippers just lost Russell Westbrook due to a fractured hand, I believe it was. So that injury hurts the Clippers. Yes, they still have Paul George. Yes, they still have Kawhi Leonard. Yes, they still have James Harden. But you always have the questions with James Harden and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Can they stay healthy? Because all 3 of them have gotten injured at some point during postseason runs. Kawhi, not as much, but we've have the Clippers ever been fully healthy come playoff time? No.
True. That's very true too. Yeah, right.
So right now, I would favor Denver, and if Boston would have home court advantage in that series, which I'll tell you what, that would be huge if you play Denver in the finals, because we saw how important home
Mm-hmm.
court was for the Nuggets last year. If you guys have
Right.
home court,
Yes.
that means you don't have to play possibly 4 games in the thin air up in the Rockies. That means they have to come to your place,
Right.
which I think would be
And somebody in
huge.
my chat just brought up a good point. Denver has a much harder conference to go through. They will get worn down if we meet in the finals, which very true, by the way. Very true. I think there's like 5 teams right now in the Western Conference competing for that number 1 seed.
Yeah,
Competition in the West is completely different in the East. If
yeah.
the Celtics can just take care of their business in the Eastern Conference, I think it's their championship to lose.
I honestly, I'm trying to think. I the only series I could see the Celtics like being pushed to 6 or 7 games is if they play Milwaukee. Honestly,
Milwaukee. Yes.
like
Yep.
other than that, I don't see anybody, and I'm talking about us too. I don't see anybody
Yep.
that could push the Celtics to 6 or 7 games. I really don't.
Yep. No.
I would
All
love
right.
to
We got
say,
another question.
go ahead.
We got another question in my chat here, and this kind of goes into tomorrow night's game. Um, matchup. Who do you got tomorrow? Do you have Drew or Darius Garland?
I would say I would favor Darius because Drew is more of a defensive guy rather than a scorer, whereas I would say
Yep.
Darius is more of
Yep.
a score first guy. So I would give Darius Garland
Yeah.
the edge just purely on that. I know Drew Holiday is
Mhm.
capable of putting up like 10 to 15 points, but he's not a score
Yep.
first kind of guy. So
Correct. Yep.
so
Yep.
in terms of the matchup, I would say that's where the Cavs have the advantage. But, without Donovan Mitchell, advantage Celtics in terms of Jaylen Brown. I don't care if it's Okoro. I don't care if it's
Yep.
Karis LeVert. It's advantage Jaylen Brown. It's going to be
Mhm.
advantage, or no, it's Derek White at the shooting guard. Excuse me, I
Yep.
apologize. Um, I forget Jaylen Brown
Yeah.
is at the small forward now. I'm used to him being at the shooting guard. Um,
Right.
but
Yep.
okay, so if it's a Coro against Derek White, I would say that's a little bit of a push because neither of them are great scorers. I would say Derek White, I would say, is a pretty good scorer, not elite, not great, but he can put up points. Feel
Yeah.
free to disagree with me on that if you want. Small forward, again, I don't care if it's Karis LeVert. I don't care if it's Isaac Okoro. It's advantage Celtics with Jaylen Brown, for sure.
Mm.
Evan Mobley, Jason Tatum, again, I love Evan Mobley. It feels like he's starting to take that next step, but still, it's advantage Celtics with Jason Tatum. I mean, you and I were
Mm.
just talking about how Jason Tatum,
Yes.
for me, he's second in the MVP conversation. You have him, I believe, top 3 from what you were saying. And then
Yep. Top 3.
Porzingis, okay. And then Kristaps Porzingis against Jared Allen. Again, I love Jared Allen, but I think Porzingis is more versatile in his game because Porzingis, he can
Yes.
play in the
Yep.
post.
Yep.
But he can also
Yep.
step out, hit that mid-range shot. He can step out, hit the 3-point shot. So there you go. Advantage Celtics. What do you want me to
Yeah.
say?
Yep. Yeah, right.
I'm trying to give the Cavs as much hope as I can. Because like I said earlier,
Right.
when I first bought a ticket to this game, I'm like, it's the top 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference going at it. It's Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland going against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's going to be a great matchup. And then we lost Donovan Mitchell. He's out for the next 3 games. We lost to the New York Knicks. We lost to the New York Knicks on Sunday night. Fuck the New York Knicks. I officially hate them now. So that's actually now 2 teams in your division that I officially hate. Neither one of them is you guys. It's the Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks. I hate both of them, and for me they are both at a level where they can never come back. They are that I hate them that much.
Yeah, right.
And
yeah.
I hate to tell
Somebody
you this.
said to me in a video. Somebody commented to me on a video. They said you should go to a Philadelphia 76ers game for a playoffs. I said, do you want me to die? Like we are absolutely hated over there in Philadelphia. Like, it sounds like a great idea on paper, but the execution of that would be poor. You guys would never see me again.
Yeah, I don't want you to die. I want you to keep making all your great Celtics content and your Boston Bruins content, which I'm sorry, but your Boston Bruins are also at that level of hatred for me. I hate the Bruins with a burning passion. So
they're not having a good season this year. I think they won tonight.
They're still second in the Atlantic Division, so you'd be playing the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I think we all know how that would go. Because you own the Toronto Maple Leafs.
We own them. We own them. Yeah, we own them. Yeah.
Yes.
But then they'll find a way to choke it in the second round like they always do, and then so on and so forth. It's the same thing over and over again. I need to see it in order to believe it for them, at least. Yeah,
I get that. You don't need to see it to believe it with the Celtics, though, because you guys have been rolling 11 straight. I'd love to say, we're going to be the streak busters, but with no Donovan Mitchell, no Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, game time decision. Karis LeVert, game time decision. I hope we don't lose by 20. That's all I can really say. I have to be honest there. You know, I hope the bobblehead is great.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, we were talking about this earlier. I love the Celtics-Cavaliers rivalry.
And you said it was a Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce bobblehead?
Yes. Because they're both from Cleveland.
Why?
Because they're both from
that's a weird giveaway. I'm not going to lie.
I know, especially because I fucking hate the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's weird for me. But whatever. It's a bobblehead.
Me too.
I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah.
Hey, at least you know how it feels as a Patriots fan. Because the Patriots were one of the most hated teams for a while.
Yeah. And now we're in the basement. We have the number 3 pick in the draft.
Yeah. And you're probably going to take Drake May if I had to guess. But, yeah. I don't know what the Browns are going to be this season. I wish I could give you a solid prediction on that, but I have no idea. I don't know how we pulled a playoff appearance out of our ass last season when we had to play 5 different quarterbacks. But, yeah. I feel bad for the TNT crew tomorrow because they're not getting the game they wanted with these 2 teams. Um, so I hope it's a great game. I expect there to be a lot of Celtic green in the crowd tomorrow. Um, I'll be
We travel
posting some.
well.
Yeah, you do. I'll be posting some in-game footage. I don't know if I'll make a vlog like you do because that's not really my thing. Um, but I'll still shout you out in some fashion when I'm at the game.
Yeah.
Because dude,
Hopefully it's not like last year where you have like 4 people say, "Sorry, Jesse."
oh, that wasn't planned. I it just so
I
happened
know. I know.
I got so into the game, and I'm like, I got so into the game, and I was talking with them, and I just so happened to be on like filming, and I'm like, "Do you guys want to say anything to Jesse?" And they're like, "Sorry, Jesse." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is great."
I watched the whole. So we reacted to it live on stream because I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
great! Grant Williams said he's gonna make both, and he choked the game for us, and now we just lost in overtime to them." Then I just that pops up, and then I just see them go, "Hey," he goes, "Sorry, Jesse," and then one of them would like hit me with the sorry like this. I was like,
I'm telling you, this Celtics Cavaliers rivalry is legit. I mean, I don't know how many NBA fans actually like recognize it as a rivalry, but I certainly do. Cause hell, we played each other 2008, 2010, 2015, 2017, 2018, and we've had 2 Game 7s, which I will never forget that 2008 Game 7 between Paul Pierce and LeBron. That was one of the best back and forth duels I've ever seen. Um,
"Yeah, yeah."
yeah, and really, you should have won the Eastern Conference Finals against us in 2018. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
It's
but
okay. It's all right. We had a young team back in the day. We had no Kyrie Irving. We had Jason Tatum at only 19 leading the way. Got also.
yes, and he
Man, he's
posterized
so great,
LeBron
man.
in that series.
He's so good.
Oh yeah. He has definitely turned into a superstar. I feel like even if
Yeah,
you
he did
hadn't
in real. Yeah,
I feel like even if you hadn't traded out of the number 1 pick, you still would have taken if Philadelphia hadn't been stupid enough to come up and trade for the number 1 pick to take Markelle Fultz, you still would have taken Jason Tatum number 1 overall. I firmly
yes,
believe that.
absolutely. That was the rumor that went out. Yeah, that was the rumor that went out. They wanted to pick Jason Tatum at 1 regardless. They knew Philadelphia wasn't going to take him because they needed a guard at the time, so they went ahead and traded with Philadelphia up to 3 because the next team, the team that was behind Philadelphia was, I believe it was Phoenix, and they were looking
No, it
for
was
a
the
forward, so
Lakers.
they wanted to get it was a well, it went Celtics, Lakers, then Philadelphia, the original top 3 for the draft. It went those 3. The pick I'm talking about the pick after Philadelphia's 3rd overall pick before the trade was even made. It was
Oh,
Phoenix. And Phoenix
gotcha.
was going to pick Jason Tatum with the 4th overall pick.
Oh, I get what you're saying. And then once you took him, I think that's why they took Dragon Bender or whatever his name is. And well, he's not even in the league anymore.
What's
I
that?
don't
I'm
know
sorry, you
where.
cut out there again.
Yes. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Hopefully we'll figure it out in the future when we collaborate again. But I was saying because you guys took Jason Tatum, I
Yep.
think that's why Phoenix took Dragon Bender. And, well, that didn't work out for the Suns at all.
Yes. Yep. No.
I don't think Dragon Bender is even in the league anymore. He's probably
He's not.
playing.
He's not. He's out of the
I think he's probably playing overseas or something. Um,
Yeah,
so,
it is what it is.
um, did you guys take Jaylen Brown the year after Jason Tatum, or was that the year before?
Year before. It was the year before.
Okay, so you already had Jaylen Brown, and then you went and added Jason Tatum. Got it. I always
Correct.
get
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Okay. I remember watching that draft, and I'm like, wait, why are the Celtics taking Jaylen Brown out of Cal? Like, I was with the majority of people thinking, okay,
Mm,
that pick is probably going to get traded. I wasn't sure where it was going to get traded, but
yes.
I felt like, okay, that seems like a trade piece for somebody. Is that what you thought at the time
Hmm.
when they drafted JB? Or did
It's
you
because
believe he was going to
I
stick
think
around?
they were gonna trade for Jimmy. I think they were. I think the rumor that was going around that they were gonna trade that pick for either Jimmy Butler or Paul George. I think it was one
Mm,
of the two at the time, and they ended up not doing it.
huh. That would have been interesting if you had traded for Paul George. Him and Jason. I don't know if him and Jason Tatum would have worked well together.
I was gonna say no. They would. I don't even know if we would have had Jason Tatum. To be honest with you, because I think we would have had to include the next year's pick also.
Yeah,
I
you
don't think we would have
probably
had
would
Jason.
have. Yeah, no. Actually, that's a good point.
So it worked out in our favor.
It certainly did. Um, yeah, hopefully this Donovan Mitchell trade works out in our favor, but we have to re-sign him in order for it to do so. Granted, we got to the playoffs last year, but then we got eliminated by the Knicks. So that was no fun. But then Miami eliminated the Knicks, so that was fun. Um,
Yeah. Right.
yeah. And then what I have to say, why was Grant Williams trash talking Jimmy Butler? Like, you don't do that. You just don't.
It's Grant being Grant. That's him trying. I guess that's him trying to protect the city. Yeah, living up to his Batman name, but he was the Joker that game. He was the villain, and costed
Yeah.
us game two. And that pretty much ended us costing the series for us.
You almost made history, but once Jason Tatum sprained his ankle in Game 7, I'm like, okay, Miami's gonna win this thing.
In
And
less than
people,
24 seconds, he sprained his ankle. That was so brutal. It was so
yeah,
brutal to see.
especially in after the way you guys won Game 6. I was watching that game and I saw Derek White make that shot. I'm like, did that really just happen? Did did I just see that? I could not believe it. That was one of
I
the
didn't even know if he got the shot off or not at first.
that
Right.
that was one of the best games I have ever seen, regular season or postseason. Straight up.
Yeah.
And now
And
this season, you guys have.
guess who took the shot before that too? It was Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart took the shot before Derek White tipped it in. Once I saw Smart put up the shot, I was like, all right, we're going home. This game's over. Marcus Smart thinks he's Steph Curry once again. He's trying to hit a game winner. So it's time to pack our bags.
Yep. Um, and I don't know what it is. You guys have played Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals like 3 out of the past 4 times. It feels like it's
Yep.
destined to happen again in the next couple seasons. I don't know about this season, but you can never dismiss Miami. But, we've hit the hour mark. I know that's what you said you had time for tonight, so I don't want to keep you longer than you've got. So, best of luck to you tomorrow. You guys are probably going to win. As much as I'll just
Yep.
say it, I'm picking the Celtics to win tomorrow because for me, my excitement level for this game was at like an 11. Now it's at like an 8. I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
I I was so
Yeah.
hyped for this game. Number 1 seed against number 2 seed Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on TNT. And then all this happened. And I'm like, thanks.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like you're trying to
Yeah.
zap my excitement. I'm like, what did
Yeah.
I do wrong? What did I
Right. Yeah.
do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Before we go, somebody asked us score predictions for tomorrow. I'll let you go
all right.
first.
All right. I know what you guys can do offensively. I'll say Celtics 115, Cavs 104. What about you?
All right. Let's go Celtics. Let's go Celtics 122, Cavaliers 104.
Okay. So you have it being a little bit more of a blowout than I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to enjoy being there because, again, I love this rivalry. But what did I do wrong? That's my question. That's my question. What the
Yeah.
hell did I do wrong?
Hey,
All
at
right.
least it can't get worse like the Warriors yesterday. It can't get
Yeah,
much worse.
I don't think we're going to get blown out by 50. You
Nope.
had them down what, like 40 something in the first half?
40. They were up by almost 30 at the first quarter. They were up by it might have been 50 by halftime. It might have been 50. No clue, honestly. It was crazy. The Jays were going off. Jason Tatum was going off on his 19th birthday. And that's the joke here in Boston. Anytime he does something great, we just say, "Oh my god, it's so crazy that he's just only 19." But
Yeah.
yeah,
Jason
they
Tatum's
went
going to
off
go off
yesterday.
for he might go off for 30. No. He might go off for 45 at least tomorrow. I'm not going to hide
Yeah.
it. He might go off for like 45. Maybe even 50. I could
Right.
Jaylen Brown's probably going to get
Yeah.
like 30. Yeah. But you know what? I'm still going to enjoy
Yeah.
myself cuz this is Boston's only visit to Cleveland. And yeah, maybe I hope we see each other in the playoffs. I really do. I want to see it. Fully healthy though, both teams. Not like this.
Eastern Conference Finals is looking like right now.
That would be the probable matchup, but we'd have to get through Milwaukee. So, all right.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
always fun talking Celtics Cavaliers with you. I want someday.
Appreciate it.
Someday I want to either go to a game with you here in Cleveland, or I want to come out to Boston and go to a game with you out there. One of the two. We gotta make it happen.
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds great.
All right.
Always appreciate it, man. Always appreciate the love and support.
Yep. I'll keep watching your vlogs, and I'll keep commenting. You know I will.
Yep, absolutely.
I'll make sure to shout you out tomorrow. You can count on that one. Bet.
Appreciate it.
So, I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty, see you later.